The World Economic Forum has already battled with a pandemic and recession, yet troubles from geopolitical instability into extreme weather just keep rolling in. Let's turn to Professor Mason Richey for more. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Good morning. This year's motto is all about rebuilding trust. Now, rebuilding trust seems to be an extension or a continuation of the theme, working together, restoring trust back in 2020. Professor Richey, what exactly will rebuilding trust entail?
Well, first of all, rebuilding trust implicitly accepts that international institutions, international organizations, governments, non-government organizations, multinational corporations have lost the confidence of the global population, and also that leaders among these institutions have also lost trust among themselves. Now, I'm not sure that a meeting of these elites in Switzerland is the answer to that issue, but putting that aside, rebuilding trust for Davos Man is this year focused on three main axes: transparency, consistency, and accountability among leaders. Within that context, we'll see agenda items including global security, obviously trade and economic growth, jobs, climate, energy transition, technology, notably artificial intelligence. And these issues are sort of put into four buckets. One is achieving security, then you have creating growth, artificial intelligence as a driving force in society and in the economy, and then long-term challenges, climate change, energy transition, and the preservation of nature.
Definitely. We all have to agree the Ukraine crisis was what dominated the security talks last year. But now the worsening situation over in the Middle East will be high on the agenda this year. Can we expect some constructive conversations this time? What do you think?
I frankly don't expect anything productive to happen on the Israel and Hamas conflict front. Israel is implementing its military plan, and really it's only the United States that can affect the calculus in Israel about how it wants to move forward. And so far, the Biden administration hasn't moved very much in terms of trying to pressure Israel one way or another. It's largely let Israel go about its military strategy in Gaza as it wants. And Davos Man isn't going to have much to say about that. As for Russia and Ukraine, the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, has called for a Swiss-led peace conference. But Russia isn't likely to be interested, given what's happened with the sort of failed Ukrainian counteroffensive and some of the progress that Russia has been making, even though it's been very small. And in any event, Russia isn't going to be invited to this peace conference anyway. Davos could be used as a platform for this type of peace initiative, but frankly speaking, Zelensky's call for this peace conference looks to me like a tactic for him to shore up support and get some weapons that have come into question in terms of support from its international partners by arguing for an impossible peace in order to be able to say, well, we tried, but we weren't able to move forward, so now you need to come back and support us again. I don't blame him for that. It's a perfectly legitimate strategy, but I don't really think that Davos itself is going to create much room for an actual peace process.
I see. On top of discussions on geopolitical tensions, another key focus point will be on AI as a driving force for the economy and society. How will such a topic be incorporated into that rebuilding trust motto?
Well, I think that there are at least two ways in which we can think about this. I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure that's what Davos Man is thinking, but in the first place, politically, much of the fear that we have about artificial intelligence, in addition to the positive sides of it, of course, comes in the form of our concern about misinformation and disinformation and the way that artificial intelligence can accelerate that. And of course, misinformation and disinformation are already a problem. This will presumably only become potentially more dramatic as AI gets better for instance, producing deep fakes. So there'll be quite a bit of discussion, I think, about how to mitigate those problems. And then economically, of course, the big concern with artificial intelligence, in addition to its positive side, of course, is its impact on jobs. What impact will artificial intelligence have on jobs? We've seen statistics where as many as 60% of global jobs could be impacted in some way by artificial intelligence, including, of course, potentially lots of people through technological change losing their jobs. So presumably there will be some discussion of that as well.
Definitely. Professor Richey, before I let you go, but the leaders of countries, briefly, the US, China, and the UK and Germany are not attending the event this year, which is why some experts are, questioning its relevance.
Yeah, so obviously, President Biden isn't going to be there. Xi Jinping isn't going to be there. Olaf Scholz, who was there last year, won't be there. France's President Emmanuel Macron will be there. The Chinese Premier Li will be there. The European Union Commission President Ursula von der Leyen will be there. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will be there. South Korean Prime Minister Han Duck-soo will be there. So, of course, there will be leaders as usual. There'll be several hundred of them in addition to the, 15 or 100 or so other global elites who are going to be there. I think the real question is, was Davos ever really relevant in terms of actually moving the world forward? It's mostly a talk shop for elitists and a place for them to network. I guess it works in some ways in terms of networking for helping set the global agenda. And in that sense, I don't think Davos is any worse off than it was before.
All right, Professor Richey, thank you so much for joining us this morning. You have a wonderful day.
Great. Thanks to you.